Hey, it's Donny once again. Talking to a friend yesterday, Ron, telling me how his friend's 590 Echo doesn't start very good, hard starting. Well, the Echoes on the hard starting, a lot of them are the way people are using them. They don't use the controls properly. And when they bought it at a dealership or at Home Depot, they never got showed how to do it properly. Or they haven't read their owner's manual, which a lot of people don't. So I got three 590s here. One's got a burnt top end. One's been broken on the case, so it's probably been hit with something, and the top end's good. And I got another carcass here. I'm going to make one out of the three just to have a little firewood saw for myself. I don't actually have any Echoes of my own, so I'm going to build one of those out of parts, and we're going to go from there. This is my friend Ron's 501P that I'm going to modify up. And I just want to show you the controls on this and how you need to start it without flooding it or anything like that. So about 70% of the 590s we sell or other Echoes, people flood them quite easy. They don't hear them. So on this control here, you have an on and off switch. Up is on, down's off, I and O. I is for ignition, O is off. You want the switch on, you pull the choke out, do not touch the throttle, because it offsets the choke, and that's where some people go wrong. But let's get into the starting procedure, back to it. Choke out, switch on, compression release in. You can do on the ground type starting or pull it like this. 2 or 3 pulls is normally what those start with. Will start up. Almost every 590 I've started up that after it's been sitting or it comes in, it's usually 2 or 3 pulls and it'll go on choke. So once you hear it fire, push the choke in and pull it over again, and it'll go onto a fast idle. Then you can click the fast idle off by hitting the throttle trigger. So the things that people do wrong are they don't hear it fire when it's on choke, and they keep pulling, then they get all frustrated. So you got to be able to have your earmuffs off almost, because these saws are quite quiet if you haven't modded the mufflers. And once that fires, get that choke in and pull it over again, and it'll go. So that's one reason how people flood them easily, and then they get frustrated and have to bring them back in. I go out back, hold it full throttle, pull it 10 times, and gets going as it clears it out. The other way is people doing it wrong is they pull the choke out, and they grab the throttle and start pulling on it. Well, I grabbed that throttle. What happened there? The choke went off, right? So now they're pulling over. It'll eventually go without that choke, but it takes quite a while. Then they get frustrated as well. So those are the 2 ways that people are doing it wrong. Every saw manufacturer has a little bit different choke mechanism. So this one's pretty basic. Just kind of remember what I said to you. You hit that throttle, it sets it off. Same on the 590, same as the 501. Excuse me. And the same on the 7310. Same thing, okay? On the Husqvarna, you have these purge valves now, or primers, some people want to call them. Pump that up, 6, 8 times. Choke comes out and up. That's your choke position. Pull it over till it fires. Once again, don't hit the throttle. See how that one gets offset too? So a lot of people are used to old school saws, which I'll show you in a minute how they go wrong with these new ones. So once it fires, same thing. Push that choke down 1 notch. Pull it again. It'll start up on a fast idle. And then you can click the throttle down to a regular idle. Let it warm up, and you're ready for your cutting. A few of the other problems with 590s, that reason they get burnt up like that one, is the carburetor. They did a carburetor change. I forget the serial number break, but then there's a different number on the carb, I believe, too. You can kind of identify the carburetor by being more of a dull aluminum finish, sort of like this one is. I think this might be the new version, but I don't have the computer in front of me to check. So what happens with the old carburetor, the ethanol fuel was actually taking some of this coating off the carburetor, and little chunks of it was going into some of the fine jets and clogging them and making them lean out. Even though you have a rev limiter ignition and the carb set from the factory, you know, it still had some problems. So this new finish on it, the ethanol is not supposed to harm it. Just try not to use ethanol gas anyways. So that was a lot of the problems with guys burning up 590s. So I suggest people as well, as after you buy an Echo, is take it back to your dealership, and through Echo, they want you to come in and let the mechanics adjust it again, just as it's broken in, just to make sure it's not going to have a problem. So you could do that if you want, and take it back to a dealer and get them to help you. Now the old type school throttle systems and chokes, use this 2100 as an example. You had the choke and you had a throttle lock. You'd lock that on, pull it over with the choke. Once it fires, you push that in, and it's already on its fast idle, right? Click the fast idle off, the way you go. But most guys didn't have problems with these if they could pull them over. 2100s were a bear to pull over. So that's kind of your situation with starting. And a lot of it boils down to is people don't get educated properly or just used to different type of saws. These new ones start really nice. Most auto-tuned ones will notice the new 592s, 572s. Usually once you pump that purge valve up, choke on, it's usually about 3 pulls and away it goes. Almost exactly like the 500i still. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you this morning. These are just up here for samples. This one I gotta take apart and redo. This one I'm gonna modify her on, and those are just my own. So I need to clear this all off my bench and get back to working on some saws here so I can get a paycheck. Anyways, keep your saw on with stick and ice, rubber on the road. Have a great day. It's TJF, by the way. Have a great Friday, and I hope your weekend goes well as well. So have a great day. Bye now.